Hey everybody, in tonight's video I'm going to be talking to you and giving my opinions on this. This is the LG G8X Thinq phone. This is a standard Android phone, pretty basic, but the neat thing about this is the case. If you flip the case open, it's actually got a dual screen on it. So it becomes almost a tablet-sized thing if you just flip it open. And that's the thing that drew me to it, is the extra screen. Sometimes I do multitasking, and I was thinking it would be cool to have, extra space. And that is like the best part about this phone. But I watched other people on YouTube do reviews of this before I bought it, and there's a couple things they left out, and I just want to give my opinion on it. So if you're thinking about buying this, these are some things that might come in handy. So for about 2 years I had this phone. This is the OnePlus 5T. And I was very happy with this phone. It's buttery smooth. It's all good. But I switched to Verizon just because this didn't have very good reception with my other carrier. And this phone does not support Verizon, okay? So at first I bought the Samsung S10e. And this is a good phone. It's got a good camera. A couple little problems. But the main complaint I had was just the screen was too small. I thought I'd get used to the smaller screen, but I had this phone for about 3 months and I just couldn't get used to it. The screen's a little too small for me, in my opinion. And there's a couple other just things, like it doesn't have multi-user profile support and just other issues like that. But I'm not doing a video about this phone because there's a lot of other people doing videos about this phone. And they already said everything there is to say about the Samsung S10e. Alright. So I switched from the Samsung to the LG because it had the bigger screen. And some complaints I have are that... Here's a complaint. The volume indicator is very slow. Like, it'll stay on there for about 5 seconds. So if you're watching a YouTube video, you just want to adjust the volume a tiny bit. Just LG's software is not as good as Oxygen OS from OnePlus. If you're watching a video, it takes up a huge portion of the screen, that volume indicator, and it stays on there for about 5 seconds, which is just unnecessary. It should stay on there for maybe 1 second, and it should be smaller. It's even bigger than it's showing when you're watching a video when it's turned vertically. Okay, that's too big. Another complaint is that if you're using the phone like this, it's fine. The volume indicators here on the side, up, down, up, down, up, down. That's fine. But when you open up the case, the volume indicators are still in the middle. They're still right here. So it's really awkward, like, ergonomically holding this. Because I'll just show you from the back. Like, the volume button is right here in the middle. And you have to kind of... It's awkward adjusting the volume when it's open like this. So that's something to keep in mind. Like, they should have just put the volume button on this side. So whether it's open or closed, you could still get to the volume. Or maybe put it on top or something. But I think it was bad design to keep it in the middle like that. Okay. Another thing to keep in mind. I'm surprised that nobody else doing a review mentioned this. But here's the camera. Okay. First of all, there was a little lag when it opened. The software is just kind of slow and buggy overall. But anyway. This is the camera, which is fine right now. But look what happens when I close the case. Wait, sorry. When I'm looking at the rear camera with the case closed, you just can't see the camera. Nobody in any reviews mentioned this, and it never occurred to me to even think about this, but when you close the case, it's covering the camera, so every time you want to use the camera, you have to open the phone, which is really annoying. Sometimes if I want to take a quick shot of something, I want to just be able to take it out of my pocket, bam, boom, take a picture. But with this, you have to take it out, unfold it, open the camera app, and then take a picture. It's annoying having that extra step. So that's something to keep in mind. Another thing to keep in mind. When you're laying in bed, like this, it's not strong enough. I'm sorry, let me show you, let me make sure you can see this. It's not strong enough to actually keep it open. So if you're laying in bed holding it like from the side, it's not going to stay open. That's really annoying. It works if you hold it on this side. It's strong enough this way, but this side of the case is a lot lighter. This is a lot heavier. So again, if you're laying in bed looking up and you hold it like here, it doesn't work. It just doesn't stay in place. It's not, the case is not strong enough to hold itself. So, yeah, that's something to keep in mind. Nobody else in any reviews mentioned that, but something to keep in mind. Okay, another thing to complain about is when you have the phone like this, when you have it closed, and it's in your pocket, and the screen is off, when you take it out of your pocket, it's hard to tell the orientation of the phone. With either of these, you can feel a difference. You can feel the difference because of the case. You can tell easily which is the top and which is the bottom. But with this, the front and the back feel the exact same. So taking it out of your pocket, a lot of the times I hold it upside down. I hold it up. Like sometimes I'm looking at the wrong screen actually when I take it out of my pocket, and it's just kind of annoying, and it's something I've still not gotten used to. Another thing to complain about is that it's kind of like holding a bowl upside down. I have this for demonstration purposes. Normally you would hold a bowl like this, okay, where the top part is bigger than the bottom. But this phone, it's like holding a bowl like this, where the bottom part is bigger than the top. I don't know if you'll be able to see this, but you can definitely feel it where the bottom is bigger than the top. Especially with this curved edge here. It's definitely smaller on top than on the bottom. So it's like every time you're using it, it's like holding a bowl upside down. And it like, you know, it curves in the bottom in the opposite of an ergonomic way. Like the screen on the bottom curves, which is the opposite of any other phone where a normal phone curves like this, and then the LG curves like this. Okay, so another thing is just the software. Even in day one, like right after installing it, even in day one, I had apps just crashing randomly. I would be watching a YouTube video, doing nothing else, and just apps crash. And I had this phone for 2 years. I hardly have any memories of apps crashing like they do in the LG one. Another complaint is the LG speakers. I like that they're stereo. I like that there's a speaker on each side, but they're not as loud as the OnePlus or the Samsung phone. Another complaint is this LG phone does not support multi-users or user profiles. So if you swipe down, there's no option. I even contacted LG about this. There's no option to set up multiple user profiles. On this one, you just swipe down, tap this thing right here. This is Oxygen OS, so you can set up multiple user profiles. Comes in very handy if you have like a business account and a personal account, or just various reasons. Multiple user profiles come in handy, but they disable it on this. Like it's multiple user profiles is built into Android OS, and LG goes out of their way to disable it. I think that's very stupid of them to do that. But that's another complaint, and nobody else mentioned that in any reviews. I don't know if you'll be able to see this really, but there's like a weird ghosting motion blur thing whenever you scroll up and down. I don't know if you'll be able to see this in the video, but it doesn't look right. Yeah, I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but just take my word for it, I guess. Like, it's not a solid line when you go up and down between these. Like it blurs together. It just does not look right. Another complaint is with the OnePlus 5T. Let's just say I have Gmail open and I want to switch to multitasking. All I do is just hold down this button and boom, I'm in multitasking, okay? Boom. Okay, let me do that again. I have an app open, I have Gmail open. One button, boom, multitasking, dual screen, like, it's that simple for multitasking, okay? With the LG phone, say I have Gmail open, it's boom, hold this down, wait a little bit, nothing even happened, let me try it again. Okay, I'm sorry. Tap it, just tap it, and then you go up here. So it's 1 click, 2 clicks, and then you click multitasking. Or multi-window. And then you have multitasking. Okay? So, sorry if I'm being a little confusing, but with the OnePlus phone, it's one button to get to multitasking. With this, it's 3 clicks to get to multitasking. It doesn't sound like a big deal, but when you're... I'm used to doing it on this, and it's just 1 click, and then it's 3 clicks on this, so it's like a lot less enjoyable, a lot less user-friendly. I think just that's another way that Oxygen OS is better. And another complaint is with LG. This is a bigger screen than the OnePlus, okay? But with the OnePlus phone, they have a bigger grid. The LG phone only allows a 5x5 grid, and I think it's dumb. Like, there's so much wasted black space here. I think they could have added an extra row of icons. They made it taller. Look at all this just wasted black space between the top and the icons. Look at all the wasted space between each row of icons. They could have added a 6th row, an extra row of icons, but they just don't give that as an option. This is the most compact you can have it. But anyway, that's another complaint. Another complaint, and my final complaint on my list, is the fingerprint scanner. Before I bought this, I thought it'd be really cool to have the fingerprint scanner. I thought it'd be cool to have it built into the screen, but it's noticeably slower than the OnePlus phone. The OnePlus phone is 2 years older than the LG phone, but the OnePlus phone is a lot faster, like noticeably, significantly faster at fingerprint reading than the LG one. The OnePlus phone is just on the back, but it's instant. Like, I can't even show you here. Wait. Boom. It's just faster. I don't know, take my word for it. And I thought it'd be better to have it on the screen, but when I take it out of my pocket, when I reach in my pocket, take it out, the fingerprint reader is exactly where my finger would be on the back of the phone. So before I bought this, I had this thing in my mind where I thought it'd be so cool to have it built into the screen, but that's not how I hold my phone. You have to touch it right here. That's not where I'm holding the phone when I take it out of my pocket. It's not comfortable to hold it here because it's so top heavy, and the phone itself is so heavy to begin with that it's just not comfortable reaching down like that. So I end up using 2 hands to do the fingerprint reader. This sounds like such a first world problem to complain about, but whatever. If I didn't buy this phone yet and somebody was making a video, it's something I would want them to point out. I do think it's cool though. I do like the dual screens. Just here are some positive things. I think it's a cool concept. I love... it's way more affordable than any other dual screen phone. Like the Samsung Galaxy Fold, I think, is like double the price. So if you want a folding phone, it's, you know, and you have a tight budget, this is way more affordable. I think this was like $700 retail. I think I got it used, so it was like $600. So it's like less than half the price of the Fold, and or the Motorola Flip folding phone thing. LG has another one called the LG, I think it's the V60, which is almost identical to this G8X phone. It's just a tiny bit bigger. I think I have a decent sized hand. I think this is big enough. I'm very happy with this size. I think I would not want one bigger. I think I would not want... It's like an extra half an inch or something bigger. But I think the G8X is big enough. You don't even need the V60. Another thing to point out is before this arrived... See, there's notches on both screens. Before this arrived, I thought that would be really annoying to me, but no, you get rid of you get used to the notch after a day. It's hardly ever in the way. And they put a notch on both screens. I thought that would really annoy me, but they did it so the screens are just identical and they match each other. But it's not a problem. The notch, that's not something I want to complain about. I mean, I guess I'd prefer it if they had a camera that just popped up on one of the sides, but it's not worth... I'm not even going to complain about that, because I don't know, it's fine already. Another thing I like is that the bottom of the phone is flat. There's no camera bump at all. I love that it's smooth, and if you don't have to use the case, you can use it on its own. And I think it's a good looking phone. I think it's, you know, it's shiny, but it's not like a huge fingerprint magnet. Yeah. Okay. Another complaint I have that I forgot to mention is I really hate that the case doesn't use USB-C. The phone uses USB-C. The case does not. It uses this stupid magnetic thing. So I bought this used, and they actually forgot to even include the magnetic thing. So if I want to use the magnetic thing, I have to go to B&H Photo and buy an adapter, or I have to take it out of the case every single time I want to charge it. But that's stupid. They should have just built in USB-C into this case, because it's legitimately thick enough. Like, if you look at a USB-C cable and you look at the thickness of the case, there's enough room to just fit it in there. Even like it even fits into the headphone jack, or yeah, it fits into the headphone jack thing. I think they should have maybe even put it sideways or something, but I think they should have just figured out a way to use USB-C. So if you're traveling, you don't have to worry about this tiny little adapter getting lost or missing in your backpack. Because most places are not going to have that stupid adapter. Most places are going to have USB-C for charging. So I think that's just a dumb design. Yeah. Yeah, with the software, there's like nothing about the software where I'm like, wow, that's awesome. There's nothing about the LG software that stuck out to me as being better than the OnePlus software. Another complaint I didn't mention before is that when you have the case closed, when you have it in the dual screen case and the case is closed, they give this notification that says cover display tool cannot use dual display. They just leave this in the notification center all the time. constantly, as long as you have the case on, which is just stupid and pointless. And if you hold down on it, there's no way to even it says this notification cannot be modified. That's so stupid. So it's just permanently wasting space in your notification center. It's a pointless notification to begin with. It's even dumber of them to not let you just turn it off. Why do it, like... Why would I care? Why would I care that it knows I have the case on? It's so stupid. What else? I like this. I like this swiping thing. You three finger swipe when it works. 3-finger swipe to switch between them. I accidentally just deleted an email doing that, so I guess it's not like a great implementation, but I'll do it again with CNN. 3-finger swipe. Boom. That's kind of a cool thing. Like, and it's just a cool thing. They have this little circle thing in the corner whenever the dual screen is on, and you tap it and you have these options. I don't like that circle thing. I think that's dumb. It's just always hovering over any app you're using. I think they should have just put all these options in the notification center. Just have another option in here that you tap to adjust the dual screen, because it's not something you're doing constantly. So why would you constantly want to have this stupid circle there? And you accidentally press it, and yeah. This screen is pretty small. It's very mirrored. Other reviewers have pointed out how mirrored it is. I kind of like the mirrored part of this in the sense that I can see myself. But I don't like that it's glass, so the outside of your case, I'm always worried about dropping it and shattering this glass on the outside. A thing that they advertise with this is a gaming mode, where you have a controller on the bottom and then you have the game on the top. My favorite game is PUBG on Android. That's my favorite Android game. And their built-in dual screen controller, where you control it on the bottom, play it on the top, didn't work with my favorite game. Like, PUBG is a very popular game. It's one of the most downloaded apps ever. One of the most popular games in the App Store. So why would you not have it working with that? I understand if it doesn't work with some obscure game. I understand that, but why is it not working with like a popular game? And I don't think that would even be that comfortable, because it looks like, when you have the game controller at the bottom, it looks like a Nintendo DS, kind of, but then you're not going to feel the buttons. I don't think it's going to be that awesome. Yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about it. I've got, sorry I'm sounding so negative. I have way more negative things to say about it than positive things. Just look at that. Look at all that black space down there. Just wasted screen space. Why not add another row of icons? Like, just in this space alone, they could have added a row of icons, let alone all the extra wasted space between stuff. They have a button on the side for starting Google Assistant. I wish this was easily customizable. There are apps that you can pay for to adjust this button, but there's no easy way in the settings to adjust this button. Like, I would like to set this maybe to make a screenshot, just one button. Or I could think of, a lot of other uses for this Google Assistant button, but I hate that they don't let you customize it. I like that they have a SIM card reader built in. That's nice. Yeah. Okay. If you have any questions about the phone, just leave a comment. Thanks for watching. Bye.